Welcome back to another episode of Into the 99, where we've got 99 cards, because Commander's number one. I am one of your hosts, Daniel. I'm joined with the boys. I've got Slothy, I've got Sherman. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, doing better than last week, that's for sure.
Yeah, you were pretty sick last week, so I'm hoping that you're feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, still under the weather, but oh man, was I sick.
But you're doing much better comparatively.
Yeah, I'm not freezing my butt under like 6 different blankets.
That's fair.
Trying to sweat it out.
That's fair. And Slothy, how are you doing this week?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well, thanks. How about yourself?
Not as bad as I was a few minutes ago. We're recording a bit late because I went downstairs to get a lovely drink to record for everyone. And just a big leak from my roof. Good times. Good times. So we got that dealt with. And we'll see from there how that goes. But no, it was a pretty good week. It was really busy. We had like a weird in the middle of the week like freak snowstorm event, which was kind of crazy. That like made black ice everywhere, made it horrible.
Yeah, horrible. It was windy.
It was really windy. Like it was just horrible weather and stuff. And then it was just good. Then it was just lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice and sunny. It's like plus weather.
Yeah. It's back to good. Like it's the weather's so good I'm experiencing rain showers in my house.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that's a phone call for when I'm done this one. There we go. I'm just testing my angles. We've got today a deck tech from the newest thing that we just did 2 weeks of spoilers because it never ends. It never ends. But this is Sherman's deck. So Sherman, take us away with what our commander is. Let's just jump right into this one.
Yeah, we got Eriette, the Beguiler. So it's 1 white, blue, black for a human warlock at the 4/4. Has lifelink, and whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a non-land permanent, an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to that aura's mana value, gain control of that permanent for as long as that aura is attached to it. This is such a stupid card.
That's pretty good. So
it's so good.
Yeah, you're also taking their stuff while you're buffing their stuff. That's rough.
It's so nice that they said non-land permanent, because if they said
I would have gone lands too, exactly.
Yeah. It's so stupid. But yeah, once again, it's me too, so it's a budget brew.
Nice. What are we? The commander's only 49 cents. What are we looking at for a budget? It's like 90 bucks. That's pretty wicked. It's pretty all right.
Sorry.
You're sick. It's gonna happen. We're all kind of sick.
Yeah. Let's just jump into artifacts. I don't have many artifacts because this deck is all about enchantments. So
okay, so I'll start it off. We got our arcane signet. 2 mana. You tap. You add 1 mana of your commander's color identity. Yeah, it's good. 3 color. You need it. You don't have the ramp colors.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then we've got the Azorius Signet, 2 mana. Pay 1 tap to add white blue.
Yeah. Then we got the command tower for 3 mana. Add any mana of your color identity, sacrifice or draw a card.
Yeah. Pretty decent. We've got another signet, another set of signets, really. Dimir Signet at 2 mana, you tap for your Dimir coloring.
And then Orzhov is the same thing, but for white-black.
And our last artifact is your classic Soul Ring. So 6 artifacts in this deck so far.
I like that. That's a pretty basic artifact section, but like you said, it's an enchantment deck, right? What do we need artifacts for where we're going?
Yeah, granted, these are all staples, but I don't care. I just don't care. I just need ramp.
You need color fixing in this color too, right? Without the ability to, like, you can, with what they keep doing with like the white cards and stuff, right? You can get the fetches and the stuff, but is it worth the budget of it, right? Like, this deck is going to do what you want at a reasonable budget this way.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I can easily make this a $500-$600 deck by throwing in all those stupid new cards, like
your fetches, like your shocks,
Teferi's Protection. I can throw in the shocks. I can throw in Trouble in Pairs. All that crap. But it's not as much fun. Like when you run into like I use handful of staples because if you don't, or if you keep on using all the staples, you're literally just running into the same deck, just 20 different cards. Who cares?
Right? That's boring. You're just cycling it out.
Yeah. But let's jump into creatures here.
Let me scroll us on down here. I like the start of your creature section here. We've got, I'll take us away with the first one. We have a Johnny's Chosen, which any aura deck you've got to run. 2 double white. Whenever an enchantment enters under your control, you create a 2/2 white cat token. If that enchantment is an aura, you may attach it to the token. So you're building an army by passively doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And speaking of building an army by passively doing what you want to do, we've got Archon of Sun's Grace, another very good card in enchantment decks. 2 double white for a 3/4 Archon with flying and lifelink. Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink, and it's got Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white Pegasus creature token with flying.
Yeah, these two are going to do work for you. So much work. They're classic.
There's such value at that, like that mana cost. How much they spit out when I assume the majority of your deck is auras is crazy.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So, we got a new card here. Well, not new. Like, this is from Eldraine.
New enough.
7 months ago.
Reaper. So
that's very sloppy.
It's a 3 and black. Okay, for a nightmare. It's a 3/3. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card.
That's really good.
This thing does work.
It's usually when you like lose your enchantments, it sucks, right? Because you just kill the enchanted creature, then I don't have my enchantments. But this way, if somebody board wipes and I lose like 10 enchantments and I get a redraw 10, that's pretty rough. You don't want me to have 10 new cards in hand.
Oh yeah, it's stupid. Yeah. It's so stupid.
Yeah, like that's a pretty rough one. We have Bruna, which is really mean. Who hurt you? Bruna, Light of Alabaster, is 3 double white and a blue for a 5/5 angel. Flying Vigilance. Whenever Bruna, Light of Alabaster attacks or blocks, you may attach to it any number of auras on the battlefield, and you may put onto the battlefield any number of aura cards that could enchantment from your graveyard or hand. Bruna's really mean.
It's just one of those cards. Like this is like one of the finishers.
You haven't seen it, but one of the people that we like to play games with has a Bruna deck, like a self-mill kind of Bruna deck.
Oh yeah,
and it puts in pretty good work. Like I'm off. I'm on a little bit of a vacation at the end of the month here, and I'm gonna build a bunch of new decks, and I think I might put a Bruna one together because like it's such a cool card. But that's a crazy ability to dump from your hand, graveyard, and any number of auras on the battlefield. It's not auras you control on the battlefield, hey? You can take everyone else's.
I thought it had to be illegal things that are illegal targets.
Yeah, whenever it attacks or blocks, you may attach any number of auras on the battlefield. It doesn't say auras you control. So if you're against another aura deck, you can take all of them.
That's true.
That's brutal. That's ruthless. Bruna seems really fun now.
Oh, great.
I've got new ideas.
Oh no. Moving on here, we've got Caliphate, Beloved by the Sea. 1 double blue for a star 3 legendary enchantment creature demigod. Power is equal to your devotion to blue. And creatures and enchantments you control have spells your opponents cast that target this permanent cost 1 more to cast.
Yeah, we just want the ward. That's it.
It's such a good card. Mm-hmm. I loved this like uncommon demigod sequence.
Yeah.
It was great. It was really nice.
The art on all of them is all so good too. Like I really liked them. And they're fun cards.
When they came out with the constellations from them, holy smokes.
Oh, right?
Oh, the constellation arts were gorgeous.
All right. So we got one of our first mean cards here, kind of. It's Cataclysmic Gearhulk for 3 white. It's a construct. It's an artifact creature. For a 4/5, it has Vigilance. When the Gearhulk enters the battlefield, each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents they control. Sacrifice the rest.
That might be one of the meanest blink cards that exists. That's a brutal one.
So this is kind of the direction I wanted to go with. Is just board wiping.
Let's quickly pause there. What? This is the direction you want to go with?
Yes.
Sherman, please.
Yes. Okay. I don't have that many board wipes. I only have like, it used to have like 8 board wipes. I just cranked it down to like 3 or 4.
I love all the Gearhulks so much, but that's so mean. This is the direction I want to go.
There's a reason why this is a budget deck.
Hey, you gotta, sometimes you gotta make those meaner choices when you're on a budget. I get it.
Yeah, but you'll see why we went for a sort of like a board wipe theme here.
Well, fair. Next we have here Hannah Ship's Navigator with my favorite art of the card. Pardon me, I'm dying over here. We're all sick. 1 white, 1 blue for a 1/2 human artificer. You pay 1 and 1 white, 1 blue. Tap, return target artifact or enchantment from your graveyard to your hand. I love this card so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun.
I don't love being sick so much, but I do love that card. It's it's a really, really cool one. I had a Hannah deck ages ago, and it was super fun to pilot, and Hannah's the ship's navigator you get. But it was pretty fun. Hannah vehicles could be a good time. And that's from someone who doesn't like vehicles.
Actually, yeah, that's a good idea.
Right?
I might do that now.
See, you get it.
Next up, we've got Core Spirit Dancer, 1 and a white for 0/2 Core Wizard. It enters the battle, or gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. And whenever you cast an aura spell, you may draw a card.
I say all the time when we're looking at these cards this way, you don't look at the card in a big blown up on a monitor style, right? But it's really, really cool that this Core Spirit Dancer, I'll pop it back up on the screen there. It's got all the umbras in it and stuff, like the octopus umbra, like the hyena umbra. It's a really, really cool touch that I don't see because I've never noticed that there was an octopus on that card. That's so cool.
Great new artwork for it.
Yeah, right?
So next one we have is Mesa Enchantress for a 1 and white human druid. It's a 0/2, and when you cast an enchantment spell, you may draw a card.
Makes sense.
Ooh, I'm glad I get the next one. We have the Ondu Spirit Dancer. I love this card. 4 1 white for a 3/3 Core Cleric. Whenever an enchantment enters under your control, you may create a token that's a copy of it. Do it only once each turn. It's a powerhouse card.
Yeah.
It's almost
the most expensive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. It's the most expensive card in the deck.
Yeah.
By far.
10% of the deck. Yeah. But again, it's
one card's 10%. Yeah.
But it's a monster card.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic.
Just quickly double checking up here. Whenever an enchantment enters, so even those tokens are going to trigger your creature makes.
Yes, that is correct.
That's pretty sick. Yeah. It's just such a beast card. Like you can't have too many copies of that in your collection.
Then we've got SRAM Senior Edificer, 1 and white for 2/2 Legendary Dwarf Advisor. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle, draw a card.
Classic. SRAM's you just got to throw it in there, just like everything else for card draw, because we need card draw here.
No matter how many times they print SRAM, he's never in stock.
It's ironic, isn't it?
Oh, I know, right? Like it's just this card they can't print enough of. Like it's so good in so many kinds of decks.
Yeah, because they've.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
I was gonna say that draw is just monstrous. Like the equipment, vehicle, or aura is just like an insane number of things to get a draw on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because like it fits on like 3 different themes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but all right. The next one we have is Starfield Mystic for a 1 and a white human cleric. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. It's a 2/2. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Starfield Mystic.
It's kind of funny that you could kill people technically with your Cataclysmic Gear Hulk by just wiping the board, putting like 15 auras into the grave, and then just keeping like the double strike aura or something if you have one in there.
Yeah.
That's funny. Starfield Mystic, the cost reduction is so good too.
Mm-hmm.
We also have this Starnheim Courser, which is another really good. It was overlooked because there's so much good stuff in Kaldheim. 2 and a white for a flying Pegasus 2/2. Artifact and enchantment spells you cast are 1 less to cast. That just raw good reduction.
Yeah. And we need that reduction, so it's nice.
Do you want to skip your auras and save them for last?
You know what? If we touch the enchantments now, it might help explain the instants and sorceries.
The rest, okay, let's do it then. Let's start. I'll start us off again. So we're in our nice little order here. We've gotten all the glitters because Sherman is mean. This card puts in so much work. I've never seen it hit the board and not be problematic.
Every time.
Yeah,
every
right.
time.
Right. It's 1 and a white enchant creature. It gets 1/1 for each artifact and enchantment you control. It does too much. It's so powerful.
For a common too.
Its floor is a 1/1 and it just accelerates from there with everything. It's crazy. It's so good.
Yeah. Then we've got Curator's Ward, 2 and a blue for an aura, enchanted permanent has hexproof. And when enchanted permanent leaves the battlefield, if it was historic, draw 2 cards.
Yeah, nice. So, one thing I want to note, I know most decks for Eriette, for this stuff, you'll see a lot of enchantments are like 4 or 5 costs. Mine is not like that, and you'll see why. Okay. So just pointing that out, just because we'll probably have people be like, oh, like so many 3 costs and 2 costs. Why? It's like, well, you'll see why. So, but anyways, next one we have is Darksteel Mutation for 1 and a white, an aura, obviously. So it is an when enchanted enchanted creature is an insect artifact creature with base power and toughness 0-1 and has indestructible, and it loses all other abilities, card types, and creature types. So we're just going to use this to steal something. I don't care what it is. It can be a token or whatever. It can be a Land of War Elves. Who cares?
Even if you don't get the steal, these are all good enchantments.
Yeah.
Problematically good enchantments. And we've got to remember as well, your commander just has lifelink stapled on it for some reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of problematic. Like a 4/4 commander at 4 with lifelink that is also stealing everything is a little rough. But it can get pretty out of control pretty quickly, I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So far, your enchantment section's mean. Oh, look at this, though. We got the... See, now it's not all mean. We've got a Dictative Crufix. 1 double blue. It has flash. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. And yeah, I like that. Okay. I like it.
Yeah, we need to make some friends.
Ooh, I like your next one.
Then we got Fallen Ideal. 2 and a black for an aura. Enchanted creature has flying and sacrifice a creature. This creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn. And when Fallen Ideal is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand.
We'll be right back.
Ever thought modern video games should be more interesting? At the Gaming Blender, we take randomized genres, mechanics, and make a new game every episode.
I've added permadeath.
We have a survival game of a hardcore simulation, which could be House Flipper, and with the permadeath of XCOM. Then that all has to be an action adventure.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Yes.
And sometimes it doesn't quite work.
And you have a construction off over the course of the narrative.
A construction off. The way we can do this is that we ditch your idea entirely. Check out the Gaming Blender on all your favourite podcast platforms now.
Yeah. So this is where we need a cost reduction, because we're going to have enchantments like this where they go to graveyard, they come back to our hand, and we want to recast them. So we don't care about getting the big creatures constantly from your opponents. You just care about whatever you can get. It doesn't matter.
The comes back from your hand is so mean, especially like you said, if you have your cost reduction down to 1 and you sacrifice a creature, not another creature. You just keep throwing my creatures into the grave.
Yeah.
And you've got so many cast triggers, draw triggers, I like that.
Yeah. So that's why we don't care about taking the big stuff. We just care about taking all the small stuff. Your opponents are going to have to spend mana, a lot of more mana for their big stuff. And every time you cast a small thing, we just take. We don't care.
Well, you do have, again, even if you don't have them, right? You can still get rid of my big things. I Ulamog and suddenly I have a 0/1 indestructible, right? You still have other things. Even in a worst case, remove the take. These are all great auras so far.
So the next one we have is False Demise for 2 and a blue. When enchanted creature is put into a graveyard, return that creature to play under your control.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So this is why we don't care about if trying to take over the big stuff, because eventually the big stuff will die, and then we get it.
I like this. I like the direction of this so far, and you're using a bunch of cards I don't see. Like this next one here, Flight of Fancy. Never seen this used ever. 3 and a blue. When it enters, draw 2 cards, and enchanted creature has flying. Every part of that's so good for you.
Yeah.
That's a really, really cool card in this. And it's a 4 cost, so you can take other things with it. It's, I really like that.
Then there's Fool's Demise, 4 and a blue. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. And when Fool's Demise is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand.
Double whammy.
I like a lot of these, yeah.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. So you just get to keep taking it. That's wicked.
Yeah, we just want to take everything. We don't care. So we take it, we block with it, it dies, we get it back under our control, we take something else, we just don't care.
That's really mean. That's a pretty brutal card.
Next one we have here is Frogify, another defensive card here. So 1 in the blue. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue frog with base power and toughness 1/1.
Yeah, that's mean. It's really mean. I like this deck, but it's mean. How salty is this deck? I've got to look at that quickly.
It's like 30.
That's not even bad. That's below the average level of salt.
Yeah.
That's all right. I don't think that's a great rating so far because this looks mean.
I think that's probably because a lot of these cards are ones that people don't really use too often. So it kind of artificially deflates how mean they are.
That's true.
Some of these cards you have probably never seen in any commander deck ever.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like weird cards. We have a Ghostly Possession, which is, again, mean. 2 and a white, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets flying. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and by enchanted creature. Yeah.
We've got Gift of Immortality. 2 and a white, enchanted creature. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Return Gift of Immortality to the battlefield attached to that creature at the beginning of the next end step.
That person will never get that creature back ever again.
Yeah, it just keeps dying and coming back to you. That's so mean. That's really funny.
So stupid. Like it's a fun card. Like I know it says here it's like $5.50, but in all honesty, I keep on finding this rare in like bargain bins where for like $1 and everything. No one really cares.
Mm-hmm.
Now this next card. This is from Mirage. They had like, you know how like they always have like, you know, different themes and everything. They had one of these for every single color. This one's called Grave Servitude for 1 in a black. You may choose to play Grave Servitude as an instant or at flash. If you do, bury it at end of combat bury it at the end of turn. Okay, so basically during the cleanup step, you would sacrifice the creature, not the enchantment.
Okay. That's kind of cool.
Enchanted creature gets +3, -1, and is black.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, this is at the cleanup. So it's after the beginning and end step. So you go through the beginning and end step, then you do the cleanup damage or all that stuff, etc., and then you sacrifice it. So the reason why I know that is because I was playing with these cards with Tiana, Ship's Caretaker. So I would cast something like this for red, which was like lightning reflexes. It would have to go past the end step, and then I would get it back on the next person's end step, beginning and end step. So it's a really weird timing, but that's how it goes.
It's kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
The weird errata. Yeah, the weird errata. You may cast Grave Certitude as though it had flash. If you cast it anytime a sorcery could have been cast, the controller of the permanent becomes sacrificed at the beginning of the next cleanup step.
Yeah.
Interesting. Kind of cool. I like this. Yeah. It's very cool old artwork too. I no longer believe in a final resting place. That's pretty brutal. Yeah. We have Guardian's Mage Mark as well. 2 and a white. You can play it anytime you can control an instant. I like that you can take creatures at instant speed in this. Enchant creature. Creatures you control that are enchanted get +1/+1. It's pretty good.
Then we've got Indestructibility. 3 and a white. Enchanted permanent has Indestructible.
By all means, keep trying. That's how I play Magic. When I'm ahead. Yeah. When I'm not ahead, I play it like this for anyone watching the video. Yeah.
The next one we have is a Karmic Justice for 2 and a white. Whenever a spell or ability an opponent controls destroys a non-creature permanent you control, which we have a lot of, you may destroy targeted permanent that opponent controls.
Yeah.
This is a great card. Cheap card now. This card used to be like $10, $15 and has dropped so much in price.
It was very expensive for a long time, yeah.
Yeah. So I still find it that every time I put this out, people are wary of your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it hard to interact and destroy things, right? You can blanket board wipe all you want, but I'll just destroy your lands.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, people are like, oh, what are you going to destroy? My artifact here, my soul ring? No, I'm going to destroy your land. Like, please don't. Please don't.
It's a great deterrent. It's the nuclear deterrent.
Yeah. Like, don't make me press the button.
Yeah. Oh, don't make me act up over here. We have Casmina's Transmutation next. Transmute my tongue. 1 in the blue. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and has base power toughness 1/1. Yeah. I love that it's like the transfigured eternal. It's very cool.
Then we've got Launch, 1 in a blue. Enchanted creature gains flying. When Launch is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand.
I like the crazy amount of recursion you have.
Yeah, there's a crazy amount of recursion in this deck. A crazy amount. We have also Minions Return for 2 in a black. It has Flash. Enchanted creature. When an enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control.
Yeah.
So once again, we're just taking more stuff, and then we're pretty much keeping it.
Yeah, that's mean. Again, even if you don't, you just have to kill it. That's no problem.
Yeah.
Another card I've never seen, but I like the art on. We've got a Mystic Restraints. 2 double blue. You can play it anytime you could an instant. When it comes into play, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're mainly using this for creatures that we want to have triggered abilities. We don't care about activated. We don't care about attacking or blocking. We just want the triggered abilities.
Yeah, I'm throwing this at like a Seedborn every game.
Yeah, exactly.
Or yeah, something that's just passively good, like a Gisela Blade of Gold Knight or something.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good stuff.
Then we've got On Sarah's Wings, 3 in a white for a legendary aura. Enchanted creature is legendary, gets +1/+1, has flying, vigilance, and lifelink.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a solid card.
There's a lot. It's a lot on it.
Yeah. It gets +1/+1, has flying, vigilance, and lifelink. Like, that's so annoying.
Well, five things for 4 mana, right? Legendary, 1/1, flying, vigilance, lifelink. Yeah, five separate things for 4 mana. Pretty good.
We're all about value here. All about Value Town.
True.
Sorry, my bad. We have Pentarch Ward for 2 in white. Enchanted creature. When it enters the battlefield, you choose a color. And when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. Enchanted creature has protection from the chosen color. This effect does not remove the ward.
That's an important thing to know, and that's mean.
Yeah. So anything that has protection from, like if you have like a white ward, and you cast it on the creature, it doesn't make it fall off of itself. So,
which is usually how I would get that stuff off my creature. Something to give it protection.
But it's also really stupid to put on someone else's stuff so that they can't put that stuff, use those colors on their own things. It's even if you don't,
really funny too.
Yeah, if they even if their commander's like a 6 cost and you put this on, and it's like, okay, like protection from black. Now none of your black stuff affects your commander because you can't target it.
Yeah, it's a great way to ruin. There was we played at one of the face-to-face games. Someone said they didn't mind jumping into a salty at one of the face-to-face events. One of the people there said they don't mind jumping into a salty game. And it was Connor we were playing with his color change Atog deck.
Oh, no.
And this guy was playing Light Paws, and he kept giving everything like protection from this, protection from that. And Connor just changed he used one like a mind bend to change the color. So he changed it to protection from white to drop all of the auras off of it. And I think it might have been Pentarch Ward, so we couldn't get the Pentarch Ward off of it because everything was pro-white. No. Ruined that guy's game. He was real mad. He didn't understand. When we said we were playing a salty game, he should have listened. Our next one we have here is this Righteous Authority. 3/1 white, 1 blue for Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature. It gets 1/1 for each card in its controller's hand. The beginning of the draw step of enchanted creature controller, they get an extra draw. I like that one.
Then there is Rune of Flight. 1 and a blue for an aura rune. Enchant permanent. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it has flying. And as long as enchanted permanent is an equipment, it has equipped creature has flying.
Yep. Fun. Put it on someone's like Soul Ring. Take it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Same thing with the next one here. Rune of Mortality for 1 and a black. Enchant permanent. when it enters, draw a card. Enchanted permanent is if the enchanted permanent is a creature that has Death Touch. As long as enchanted permanent is an equipment, the equipped creature has Death Touch.
I love all these rune cards.
I built a deck with these rune cards, stuff like this, with Esper, where I had a bunch of reconfigure creatures, so that they would get the Death Touch, let's say, for this, and then after that you would equip it to someone, and then they would still gain the ability.
I like that. We have another rune here, Rune of Sustenance. 1 and a white. When it enters, you draw a card again, and this gives lifelink. So enchanted creature, if it's a permanent, gets lifelink, and if it's an equipment, your enchanted creature gets lifelink. Equipped creature, sorry.
Yeah.
The next card has like the most brutal flavor text I've ever seen. I'm so in love with it. When you're done, please read that flavor text as well. It's very cool art too. Another I've never seen.
We've got Screams from Within, 1 double black. Enchanted creature gets -1/-1. When enchanted creature is put into a graveyard, return Screams from Within from your graveyard to the battlefield, and there's no escaping an enemy that lives inside your head.
That's heavy metal.
Yeah.
That's really good. There's no escaping an enemy that lives inside your head. That's a mean card. -1/-1. Again, you can just use it to like wipe my like mana dorks out. And then get it back. Yeah.
It's so stupid. Next one is Shade's Form for 1 double black. Enchanted creature has for a black, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So, and when enchanted creature is put into a graveyard, return that creature to the play under your control. So you're giving it basically like the ability that the old Shades used to have, like Frozen Shade and all that stuff. So. And then when it dies, you just get the creature. You get to keep it.
When enchanted, return the creature to planet. That's mean. But yeah, like swamp breathing is crazy as well. It's another way to, if you have the mana late game, to just you can dump the mana in and kill them with your commander.
Yeah.
Who also has lifelink, which is a problem. I like this enchantment section so far. I'm going to be honest. We've got Sleeper's Guile, 2 and a black. Enchanted creature can't be blocked except by artifact and black creatures. When it's put into a graveyard from a play, return to its owner's hand. A ton of recursion.
Yeah, we have to have a lot of recursion here because we want to be able to recast enchantments again and again and again. So we have like 34 enchantments, okay? But with all this returning constantly, we more have like half our deck is pretty much, it feels like we have enchantments.
Yeah.
Right. Next one we have is Soar for 1 and a white. You may choose to play Soar as an instant, so once again, you can play it with flash, and if you do, you sacrifice that creature at the end. Okay, enchanted creature gets +0/+1 and gains flying.
Yeah.
And once again, we're just getting rid of stuff that's in the way.
Yeah. I like this a lot. I like your list is mean, but reasonably mean. Like it's not as salty as it could be, right? Like I'm seeing no stasis. We're in the S's, and I think we're pretty clear. But like it's not as mean as it could be. But it's still pretty mean. But it's a fair mean. I like fair mean. I'm a fan of it. Please take it away.
Sure. We got Sphere of Safety, 4 and a white. Creatures can attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays X for each of those creatures, where X is the number of enchantments you control.
I have it in there. You gotta. I don't have a Ghostly Prison or Propaganda, okay? Come on, like, everyone, come on. You gotta have at least the Sphere of Safety in there.
Yeah. You need it.
Yeah.
This is another cool one, too, Stone Skin. We've got 2 and a white, Enchantment Aura, Flash Enchant Creature. Enchanted creature gets +0/+10. Okay.
Nice defensive card.
You'll kill nothing. Blasphemous Act, Eriette, all you want.
Ooh, nice shot. I almost felt that one.
That's brutal.
It's a good one. The following one is Teferi's Aegis Insight for 2 blue. A legendary enchantment. If you would draw a card except the first one you draw in each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead. We have a lot of card draw.
Yeah.
A crazy amount of card draw and recursion.
Yeah.
I like all of your list here. The Unholy is good. I was hoping I was seeing stuff like that in this list. Take it away, please.
Sure. We got Unholy Indenture. 2 and a black, enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control with a +1/+1 counter element.
Yeah. And I'll let you take your last enchantment here, Sherman.
All right. So the last one, just like the other ones we have Ward of Light, which is double white. Okay, you may choose to play Ward of Light as an instant. If you do, sacrifice it at the end of turn. So once again, just like Sword, just like Grave Servitude, you sacrifice that creature at the end. Okay, enchanted creature gains protection from a color of your choice. The protection granted by Ward of Light does not remove Ward of Light.
Nice.
So stuff like this is really fun just because I like Ward of Light. I have way too much fun with because someone will attack someone else. They'll block. I'll cast Ward of Light. So, on the defender, let's say. And then the attacking creature dies, and then the defending creature dies, or vice versa. It's just stupid, so it's like almost like a 2-for-1 at times when they're not attacking me.
I like stuff like that, yeah.
So, and like with stuff like this, like, with like Bruna, when you're attacking and like stuff like this comes flying out, right? So you don't have to attach Ward of Lights, but things like Soar or Grave Servitude, you can just attach. You're not casting it as an instant. It's just coming out from the ability, so you just keep it, and you don't have to worry about sacrificing it after.
Yeah, that's I like this. You've got a lot of enchantments in here, and only $36 to get it. Like, that's good.
Yeah, it's cheap. It's really, really, really cheap. Like a third of my enchantments is a third of cost of my deck. There you go. Or sorry, like a third of my deck is enchantments, and a third of it is the cost of the deck.
Yeah. No, I like this enchantment section a lot. It's very, very cool. You don't have many instants and sorceries in here.
No. I used to have more, but I cut it down.
That's fair. That's respectable. I'll take our first one away. We have Assassin's Ink. 2 double black. It costs 1 less to cast if you control an artifact, and 1 less to control if you control an enchantment. I like the modular, modified, but it's got destroy target creature or planeswalker. I like it.
You can throw in something different. I just wanted something that's different for removal.
That's cool too. It's nice artwork.
Then we've got Counterspell, double blue, counter target spell.
Nice, classic.
The Bane of Commander. Yeah, the Bane.
Yeah.
The dreaded 2 blue
we got
threat.
a D-Spark here. So for a white and a black, exile target permanent with mana value 4 or greater.
Yeah, that's also a mean card.
Yeah. So a lot of our enchantments are 3 and below. So the 4 and greater kind of like offsets that.
Oh, I love the flavor text of those. The lore in War of the Spark was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite thing. When I get there on the podcast, I'm going to plug that day after day. I love it. We have a disenchant, one of the better pieces of removal in like white. Like it's a classic good one. 1 in a white, you destroy target artifact or enchantment, instant. It's all we need. Just a quick blam.
Yeah.
Then we've got Fracture, white and a black, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. And
then I'm just going to take the last 2 just because you see them so often. We have Path to Exile. So for a white, exile target creature is controller may search for their library for a basic land card, put in that card into play, tapped, and shuffle. And then you also have the Source of Plowshares for a white. Exile target creature is controller gains life equal to its power. So very, very small instant section, but once again, we also have those enchantments that have flash. So, it's more like our instant section is more like 15 cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like it. It's got your good removal. It has what you need.
Yeah.
For lands, do you have any important lands to talk about while I'm scrolling?
No. Lands are very, very basic. A few fetches here and there, like Evolving Wilds, Obscura, Storefront, things like that. Nothing major in the lands.
Yeah, just a really, really simple budget one.
Yeah, very, very budget. I do not have a Reliquary Tower in here. Because I ran out of Reliquary Towers. So I just kind of took it out. But that is something that you might want to put in if you do put in something for like, upgrading the land base. Like the land base you can upgrade a lot. Because there's not much here.
Yeah, Reliquary Tower or even Decanter of Endless Water if you are able to find any.
I was wondering what these lands are from. This is the new Modern Horizons 3 lands that like clearly look like the Emrakul, Eldrazi, Ulamog kind of thing.
Oh yeah, those would look really nice.
Yeah.
Would I pick up any of the Modern Horizon 3? At those price points, definitely not. I don't want to crack another Talrand.
We need it. Give me Zatopa.
$100 Talrand right there.
Yeah, right. I would pick up a lot of these full art Eldrazi lands though. They're really cool looking.
They're very, very, very beautiful. I love the swamp one is fantastic.
Yeah, but again, like you said, collector boxes of that. Ugh.
Yeah,
Ugh.
No thanks.
Yeah, yuck. No. Right. We go into our sorcery again, a small sorcery section. Sheesh. We got Brilliant Restoration, 3 quadra white, mega white. Return all artifact and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's a problem. You don't want that to go off. You do not want to get hit with the Brilliant Restoration. Again, if you're pulling out a 7 mana card, it should usually do some good stuff, but that's not. You're in a bad spot, especially if you just board wipe and you think you're back to good. You're like, you know what? Sherman's not getting the one up on me. Then he Brilliant Restorations, buddy.
Then we've got Divine Reckoning, 2 double white. Each player chooses a creature they control, destroy the rest, and it's got flashback for 5 double white.
Yeah, flashback matters here. Flashback matters.
Yeah, double board wipe is good.
Yeah. We have Retether for 3 and a white. Turn each aura card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Only creatures can be enchanted this way. All right, so that's another reason why I didn't put in any of the curses and whatnot, just because of things like this.
Yeah, that's I like Retether. I like aura decks just in general. I'm a sucker for casting auras. We have one of the meanest cards, Single Combat. Hate it so much. It's so fun. It's 3 double white. Each player chooses a creature or planeswalker they control, then sacks the rest. Players can't cast creatures or planeswalkers till the end of your next turn. That last line has traumatized me after I built my my turns deck.
Yeah.
Just until the next turn, anything like that, I'm very wary of. I'm like, ooh, I don't like that.
This card is fantastic because if people just, when people just leave their one single defender up or whatever, you just take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, or if you have all your orders where they're like, oh, if this creature dies, you get control of it, and they sacrifice it. Now each opponent has like 1 creature, and you have like 4 or 5. So you're overwhelming the board. You are the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not even a threat to the entire multiverse could persuade them to put aside their feud. Me and the last company I worked for, whew, buddy.
Oh man, I remember you telling me the stories.
I could tell some stories, but I shouldn't. But I could. I shouldn't. Sloth, you want to finish this off with our last board wipe here?
Yeah. We got Winds of Wrath, kind of a staple in these kind of decks. We got 3 double white. Destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted. They can't be regenerated.
Yep.
That's pretty rough.
Fantastic. So, and there's we have like 4, if you include the flashback, that's 5 board wipes in this deck. This deck used to have like 12, right? Just because I would throw stuff down where your creatures would die, then I would get it when it does die. So like Dusk to Dawn, Tragic Arrogance is a really good board wipe in this deck because once again it's sort of like a Cataclysmic Gearhulk. You choose different or everyone chooses like an enchantment, creature, artifact, stuff like that, and then sacrifices the rest. So stuff like that is really, really strong. It's just it got too mean. So we had to tone it down a little bit after the play testing a few times.
Yeah, I could see that. That seems like too much.
Yeah. So, but like if you want to see this go off, put in more board wipes. I kid you not. That's all you really need is just a board wipe theme. Okay. And all your enchantments are like throwing down where like, okay, I take over your creature when it dies. It just helps you build the army. This is more like a tempo deck in a sense, and tempo decks are kind of hard to build in EDH, let's face it, because you're playing against 3 people. So it's a little bit more difficult because of that, but like you're controlling the tempo because you're wiping the board constantly and you're taking the stuff that's being wiped.
Yeah. The Eriette, like it just has pretty great stats overall for what's in it. Like the equal to or less than, most people are running low CMC stuff right now, right? Like that just the CMC comes lower and lower and lower every set for the main includes in the deck, unless you're looking at the like 13 mana commanders we were looking at last time. You're not taking those. You're not taking nothing with those with Eriette. But then they just turn into a 0/1 bug, and then I cry.
And that's the thing, like as you're saying, like as the sets go on, as time goes forward, people are making their decks faster and faster. Okay, and to do that, they're lowering the curve a lot. They're lowering the amount of like mana it requires to run the deck. So like 3-4 years ago, okay, the average CMC of a deck, including lands or non-including lands, doesn't matter, I don't care, but it's around like 3.5 to 4.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Nowadays we're seeing it more closely to a 3.
Yeah.
So, and that's why like I have a few enchantments that are 4 CMC and even 5 CMC. But overall, I don't care because most of the gameplay and interaction and all that stuff was going to be with cards that are low CMC for 3 or less.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take those, especially token things, okay? I'll take those too. I don't care because my enchantments keep on coming back to my hand as well.
Well, if we even look at, I'm just pulling up one of the last decks we did, like Slothy's, like Sir Rolls a Lot 1. The house always wins. That's a fun deck. Like, what's your average CMC that we're looking at there? Yeah, it's right around mana curve, average value 3.2, and there's a lot of 3 mana stuff. Like, I think he can take most of your creatures.
Yeah.
100%.
Can't take Alibu, can't take the big dragons, but he can.
But that's what the board wipes are for.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't take a Cyber Squadron, thankfully. No, but even looking through, like most of mine, it's the same thing. In most of my lists, you'll be able to steal the overwhelming majority of my cards with this set. A lot of it's my commanders, like especially like my favorite decks are like Selvala, right? And you can take my Selvala so easy with this.
And that's the thing. I don't need to steal 50% of your stuff. Okay, there's 3 players. Okay, if I can take up to 30% of each of the decks, I'm already happy.
Yeah, you're laughing.
Yeah, I'm already up. Everything else, okay, are already going to be like instant sorceries, which I can't do anything about anyways, or they're going to be lands. And then when you calculate all of that out, that means like maybe like 20% of each person's deck I cannot touch. Who cares? That's what the board wipes are for. Okay, sure, you can bring out your dragons and everything, okay, but I can single combat, and wipe the board, and then if I have, or I can throw in an enchantment onto it, where if it dies, I get it. Now, I don't have to worry about finding an enchantment that's 7 costs, so I can take your dragon. I have a 3 cost that says, if it dies, I get it.
That's very true. You you also have the Cataclysmic in there, which is very problematic. The sacrifice to get around my like Indestructible or my Avacyn. It's okay. Oh, you have hexproof on all your enchantments because you're pillow forted up. Very cool.
Yeah, that's why Cataclysmic, single combat, those 2 are really strong. And like I said, like another one that you might want to throw in is Tragic Arrogance, because that one, once again, it bypasses indestructibility. So, and sure, I can throw in things like Shadow Sphere to get rid of all the indestructibility. But once again, this isn't me. I like budget. This deck is under $100. Okay, if I really, really, really wanted to, I could bump it up to $500-$600 easily. But it would not be a fun deck, at least not for me.
I really enjoy seeing like lower budget stuff go off and like compete with like a a higher normal budget and stuff, right? And again, $90 is a nothing budget. That's easy to put together and stuff like that, but you're not watering yourself down with how you built it.
Yeah. And like once again, like yes, I have staples. Okay. I have maybe 10 staples. Okay.
But they're not the power staples, right? Like everyone knows the exact, like it's an enchantment deck. Let's throw in smothering ties and let's throw it. You know what I mean? You're not putting in the same boring staples. Sure. A counterspell, you expect that a little bit in a blue, right? Some of the signets, like I wouldn't call those even staples at this point with how much people are like changing them, right? To me, the staples I don't like to see are just your normal, like, okay, well, I'm playing red, bam, dockside. Okay, well, like if you're making a treasure deck, sure, right? Like the House Winds deck, you're playing with treasures, you put that in, right? But just because the deck is red or just because the deck is white, like, oh, well, I got to put this in. I've got black, so I had to have a Cabal Coffers and Urborg in there.
Boring.
Yeah, right, boring. Exactly. I like to see different things. There's so many cards. 4 100 card decks, and all the time I'm seeing like the same kind of list. Get it out of here. I love stuff like this that I like have to be like, what does that card do? That is killer.
What I find interesting is when we build decks like this, where you can clearly see it's very different for the cards that we like. The theme is the same as other people's themes, okay? But the way that it's built, the cards that we use are very different from most other content creators. And we still get messages saying like, oh, wow, this is such a boring build because you don't have this and this and this. And they're listing off nothing but staples. And then when we do build a deck tech where we have like 30 cards or staples, they're like, oh my God, this is such a boring deck tech because you're using so many staples. Like, people, come on.
Pick one. Yeah, like, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, like, we do get a lot of the most normal compliment I get all the time is we love the weird things you guys brew with.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's, like it or not, we build some interesting things. I'm not saying they're good when I build them, but they're unique. They're at a minimum, they're unique.
Yeah. And this is in my opinion, this is a unique deck because a lot of people with this commander, they're going for 4 or 5 CMC or mana value
to try blanket catch it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But when you do the math, okay, when you actually sit down and do the math, do you really want to try to take 80% of your opponent's decks? Or it can't even take 80%. Okay, like there's like 70% of the cards in your opponent's decks you can pretty much try to take. Around 65 to 70, let's say. Okay, but we'll say 70 just for argument's sake. Okay, because let's say 30% is going to be land. It's not that much, or it's not that little, but let's say it's around 30%. Right? Then you got to include sorceries and instants. Okay, so that's going to be another 20. So we're now down to 50%. Okay, do you really care about trying to just take 50%, or are you willing to sacrifice another like 10-15% and just go for something that's really streamlined? Okay, and makes your deck effective. Like, there's a reason why I only have like maybe like 3 Aura's Earth or CMC and like 1 that's like 5. Is because when you do the math, that's all you really need. Okay? You don't need all this other stuff, and you just need to come up with a solution for what to do with the big stuff. Well, I have the solutions. I'm either throwing in auras where I'm getting rid of it with like Grave Servitude and all that stuff where you have to sacrifice it, or I am board wiping. Okay, like people need to understand, like, is this a boring build? Not really.
I like it.
There is a lot of thought behind it.
What you're talking about too right now is I'll pop up here. Zur Eternal Schemer is a great example. I built Zur Eternal Schemer and I played it and I did pretty okay with it and stuff. Right, Zur is another aura enchantment commander on this. It's 1 white, 1 blue, 1 black, 1/4 enchantment creatures you control have death touch, lifelink, hexproof. Pay 1, you pay a white, target non-aura enchantment you control becomes a creature with base power and toughness equal to its mana value. I built that, but I built it in the way Sherman was just talking about, where I just put all those, like, I tried to go for that maximum. I was like, yeah, I can turn all these cool things, and it didn't play out right. I sacrificed those like little weenie cards that I could have gotten in and could have like power had these like death touch, lifelink, hexproof things. for all these high value like fun cards, and the deck just didn't play in a fun way that I wanted it to ever. Like it just was lacking.
Yeah.
The
thing is, like,
I was going to say really quickly, I like when you see people build with that, like, more like a pragmatic approach, right? Instead of like the, oh, well, I can take everything, sacrifice that. Like you said, you put in the answers for those big creatures. Who cares? You're going to sacrifice. You'll take them with those 3-mana ones. Like you've built around that. We don't need that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff that's annoying that you take at 3-mana in most of my decks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's, like I said, that's the thing. Like, you just got to sit down and actually spend the time to think about it for a second, because like when I was building this and I play tested it, I talked to a few people and they're like, oh, you should put in this and you should put in that. And blah, blah. Like, okay. And I'm like, all right, what's the reasoning behind your decisions? Why do you want to put those in? It's like, oh, but you can do all these different things. Once again, stop looking at just the ceiling. Okay. Looking at just the ceiling makes it harder for you to build good decks. You got to look at the floor. Okay. How big is the ceiling versus the floor? In this one, for all these enchantments, okay, the floor is that I slap an enchantment down on something that's really, really big, and I hope that it dies. Okay. That's my floor. I cannot take control of it. How do I solve that? I board wipe. What's the ceiling? I take something that you really, really, really need as a key component. That's 3 CMC. I take it. And then when you try to get it back, I board wipe. The enchantment says, I get to keep it. That's the ceiling. So, and people need to understand, like, this is how I think. I don't know about everyone else, but this is how I build decks. This is how I do everything, where I just look at it and it's be like, okay, I can take out a bunch of 3 CMC auras and put in more 4 CMC and then take close to 40% of everyone's decks instead. Okay. But is it really worth it? I have 3 other players. Okay. If I can take 40% of their cards, that's 120 cards. I don't have that many auras. Okay. I have
build like 34. Me, you will. You shouldn't put that many sleeves in the box.
Yeah. But like, even 30, if you can take 30% of each person's deck, that's still 90 cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can take 1% of my deck, I'll be upset.
Well, heck, you take even 5% of someone's deck, they get upset.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But anyways, that's my little rant.
Yeah, I say I'm happy to end there with. I think we got the gist of it. Slothy, any final thoughts?
I might build something similar to this. I very much enjoy this. I am a big fan of aura decks and Sherman builds in general. Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
I really like this Mystic Restraints
card. I'm looking forward to having my stuff taken.
Yeah, we got to get some new stream games in. We all keep getting sick in a row, but we're not around each other. It's not like we're getting each other sick. Oh, it's the worst, but I'm glad you're doing better. But yes, let me roll that outro music. Thank you everyone for getting through this episode. What kind of stuff would you put in? And I swear, if it's a smothering tithe, hands. If you like what you're seeing, like, share, subscribe. It really, really does help us out. It means a lot. If you want to go above and beyond that, which, like I keep saying, everyone should be doing, give us those 5 stars. Help us get noticed by people. Come check us out on Patreon. Like I said, we're going to be doing some patron streams, lots of cool stuff. It's a great place to talk decks, build things, and just talk about life in general, right? Good place to come chat with us. So patreon.com into the 99. It's in the link. You can find it. You guys get it. Also, we've been working a lot with the brand AI Armor, and they do pretty great stuff, really, really good quality. They just shipped out another care package kind of stuff, so we'll have a bunch more of those sleeves to go through and everything. Make sure you go check them out. The link will be in the description of this and the YouTube video. They're just really, really quality sleeves. They're really, really nice. There's nothing else I can say about them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm switching all my sleeves to them.
Yeah, they're so nice. Like, they're not like a normal mat, but they feel like a mat. It's just great.
They shuffle phenomenally.
Yeah.
I think one of the best things is when you get them fresh out of the pack, they don't instantly slide away from you.
That's my problem. I sleeve a new deck and then I don't have time to let it sit there so I sleeve a new deck and it spends the whole game flipping over, but I didn't have the problem with these ones. These are good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. And then if you want any of these, if anything in this Sherman's budget list is out of the budget, go over to abyssproxyshop.com, promo code IT99 to get your stuff. If you want to get these Mystic Restraints on a budget and a deal, that's on you. That's it. We're good. We're happy there. Bye-bye, everyone.
Laters.
See ya.